Hey all. So I'm in a new place. I just left Kyoto yesterday and arrived in Tokyo also yesterday in the evening. Did have a couple meetings in Kyoto before I left at the Kyoto University Archives, which was really awesome. I got to see some materials from the Yoshida dorm, which I talked about in another video, getting to actually see the Yoshida dorm. Well, I got to see really old materials from the student activists, the student organizers of Yoshida Dorm. So something like actual primary source documentation. It was super cool. So that was really awesome. I saw a couple other documents, like primary source type documents from different movements in Kyoto and at the university and in the area. And then today I had 2 or 3 different meetings, so it was kind of a long day. Back in Tokyo, I went to a public library, the Okubo Public Library, which is near the Koreatown in Shinjuku. And the reason I decided to go there was because it is a very well-known library for serving multicultural populations. So Shinjuku, among pretty much every other district, has the absolute largest population of non-Japanese residents. And not just Korean, but also Chinese and Nepalese and Sri Lankan. There are a lot of different people living in around the Okubo Public Library in Shinjuku. So I got to go there and I got to see the collections that they have, both for children and adults, and all of these really, really unique things that pretty much no other public library in Japan really has. They have some collections, but Okubo Public Library particularly focuses on that. In fact, the Shinjuku ward, where the library gets its budget from, approved that library should purposely be buying books that support multicultural communities. And then they do story times. They have really awesome events that are highly attended. And yeah, and actually a librarian who's very famous works there. He's very, very well known in the field here in Japan and abroad for his multicultural program. So that's really cool. I got to go there. And I got to go with 3 interpreters today. So 2 of the interpreters that have been with me most of the time, and I love them. And then a 3rd interpreter that I met my first night at dinner, who was also very lovely. I love all of them. I had to say goodbye to them today because today was my last day of full meetings, at least for the Horner Fellowship. I do have a couple, because I have a 3rd week that I took as personal time, but it turns out in the grand tradition of things, I have scheduled a whole bunch of meetings throughout my personal time week with some individuals and activists and organizations. So my interpreters won't be there for that, but I did have to say goodbye to them because I won't be seeing them again. It was really difficult. I care for them so much. I love them, love them. So I'm not very emotional when it comes to saying goodbye. I'm actually pretty okay with it. I get sad, but I'm usually like, okay, bye. I'm sure I'll see you sometime in the future. And I'm sure I'll see them again, but I know that because they're so far away in a different country, it's just not the same. So yeah, that makes me so sad. You can probably hear, like, the air conditioning thing there so loud. Like, blasts me with air every, like, I don't know, 15 minutes. It's very aggressive. It's an aggro air conditioning there. So yeah, so I had to say goodbye to them today, and they got me presents. Oh, it was so lovely. They got me like parting presents. Are they on my bed there? Where did I put them? Hold on, let me roll over. Oh, yeah, here they are. Okay, so they got me a few presents. Well, after my last meeting, which was at the public library, we all went out for tea and cake because they know I love tea and they know I love cake, and we just had this meeting where we talked about things. It was very lovely. Oh, I didn't tell you the other thing I did today. So before I talk about the presents in them and how much I love them and I will miss them, I love them so much. I also went to, I forget the full name because it's really long, the Research Center for Cooperative Civil Societies, which was awesome. It was really, really, really cool. I love it so much. The history of the Institute is hardcore. They have had to fight so hard to protect the collection because a lot of people just haven't wanted it and tried to shut the collection down. But the entire collection is basically a whole bunch of papers and primary source documents that was started by a group of citizens, people in the community, to collect all of their own stuff. And it's still very much that way, but they collected all of the meeting minutes and pamphlets and information and newsletters about, God, that thing is so loud, about their activist and organization efforts going all the way back to the 60s. So this is all post-war. So, man, there was a bunch of stuff. There was anti-apartheid materials because Nelson Mandela at one point visited Japan because there's a really strong anti-apartheid movement here in Japan. And so there's this whole scrapbook of photos of him in Japan with a lot of Japanese activists, and there was materials about local groups. So some the mothers activists in the 70s, I believe, who were pretty active about literally everything. They are a really well-known, awesome group of activists in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. Some student activist things, lots and lots of newsletters from different political activist groups, so many, it's hard to name all of it. It was so comprehensive and really awesome. So I got to see a lot of things, a lot of anti-war movements, a lot of anti-peace movements, a lot of fossil fuels, anti-nuclear power, a lot of climate justice stuff, just great. And that was at Rikyo University in Ikebukuro. So yeah, that was a really cool meeting. The archivist was super cool, so smart, really, really smart archivist, who actually was in the inaugural class for archival studies in Japan. So for a long time, there was never any programs in archives in Japan. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'd say a little over 10 years ago maybe was their first program, and she was the very first class that wound up graduating from that program. So that's even that's a pretty cool little piece of history. So that was really cool. Okubo Public Library was awesome. Their materials were really cool. Their programs were really cool. And I had a super good day with my interpreters, whom I love. Love, love, love. I'm so sad to meet them. Anyway, I will show you the presents that they got me. It was so sweet. They got me presents. And I got them extra presents too. But I forgot their cards. I brought these really pretty cards and I made them thank you cards. And I forgot them at the hotel. Well, okay, so I didn't actually forget them. So I have to go back a little bit. I was telling you all about that sweet luggage forwarding service where I don't have to carry my huge, huge luggage and how convenient it was. I am going to add a little caveat to this. So, yeah, it was super convenient, but filling out the form was really difficult. Everything I read online, and from what I've heard from other people, you can go to the front desk and they will help you fill it out. So somebody did help me fill it out. He was so, so nice. In fact, I have it right here. He even gave me like his business card that had a little message on it in case something happened. I could show whoever the message. Oh my gosh, he was so friendly and lovely and wonderful, like so helpful. So when I brought my bag down the next day, he had filled out the form and done all the stuff and called the hotel I was going to, made sure that they were at the right address and that they would accept the thing. And then when I went down the next morning, the woman who took my form was really confused, and I think she must have checked the wrong box. I told her I wanted it delivered that evening, but something happened. My luggage wound up not arriving. I was so scared that it was just like lost. It was just gone. Especially because I had everyone's presents in it. I wouldn't have cared about anything else, but like the presents, I guess I could have got more. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. I still would have been sad, but anyway. So yeah, so my bag has been missing, but it wound up arriving today. So I got it. It's right over there, hanging out there with its Kuro Neko tag on it. Let me show you the tag. Hold on. Okay. Alright, so this is what the form looks like when you fill it out. Yeah. So I'm not great at writing in Japanese. My handwriting is not even good in English. It's possible to write this, but just have someone at the front desk do it. So anyway, this is how much my bag weighs. This is the address that it was going to, I believe. Yep. This is the address it was coming from down here. What was in my bag, the date I wanted it to arrive, which I think she put the next day, not that day. And then over here that's covered up by this thing is what time you want it to arrive. Anyway, so, and this is the, this little, you can't see it that well, but it's a black cat carrying a little baby black cat. And this is the Takubin service that forwards luggage. It's really convenient. It's super convenient, or at least it's supposed to be. It's a little bit difficult. It's also called Kuro Neko because Kuro is black and that cat on the tag right here is a Neko. So yeah, so you can always go up to a front desk and say Takubin or say Kuro Neko, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, and then ask for help filling it out. But I think the woman in the morning didn't speak English very well, and I wasn't communicating very well, so it just got confusing, and so this didn't arrive until later. But this is what that looks like in case you need to know. Pretty sure all hotels have a Takubin service. If they don't, you see these trucks driving around everywhere with the Kuro Nekos on it, everywhere. So you can pick them up at 7. You can pick your luggage up at a 7-Eleven. You can pick it up at one of their stores. There's a lot of different options. So anyway, it worked out. It was awesome. Didn't have to carry my luggage, but it was a little stressful because I was out. I was without my bag. Yeah, which had like all my clothes, most things in it. It was still okay because I had like a shoulder duffel, but meh. You know how that is. So yeah. So anyway, I didn't forget their cards. Back to that. I didn't forget their cards. Their cards were just in my luggage, which was lost and or hadn't arrived yet. And it turned out it was the latter. So yay. Yay, my luggage is here the day before I'm supposed to leave again. So I'm going to figure out what to do. I still don't know if I'm going to stay in this hotel for my next week or the next hotel because it's not booked yet. Because the 2 weeks was booked through the Horner people, and I chose to stay an extra week to continue the research, which isn't technically a part of that 2-week chunk, so it's all up to me. So I don't know what to do. And I'll talk about why I don't know what to do in a minute after I finally show you the presents they got me. So this one isn't really a present, but one of my interpreters really loves sticky notes, and I saw in her planner she had a whole bunch of sticky notes. So she gave me this little tab of tabbed sticky notes, and she really loves these ones, and she even showed me, she's like, look, these are my favorite. I love these so much. She's like, I want you to have them. And there's a couple left, but I'm so, oh my gosh. They just flew off. No. Anyway, I'm really touched. She was so excited. She was like, take these. Oh, it was so sweet. I loved it so much. I'm going to cherish these sticky notes and use them in my most favorite thing. And then she gave me this sticky note too. It's really cute. It has little roses and bows. Yeah. So it wasn't a formal present, but it was just such a sweet, wonderful present. I love it so much. And so my other interpreters gave me 2 presents. One of them is it's a fruit, a persimmon. He got me persimmons because he's like, they don't have these in Arizona, so I got you some persimmons. And I love persimmons. I rarely get to have them, but I love persimmons so much. 1, they have a super cute name. 2, they're in Animal Crossing, which I love that game. And 3, they're delicious. Persimmons. Oh, so he got me persimmons, which came in a really cute Halloween-themed bag. Oh, look at that. So cute. Oh my gosh, there's a vampire eating persimmons. Okay. Also, he got me... Oh, it's so sweet. He was like, Michelle-san, I was at a stationery store, and I saw something and I thought of you. So sweet. Oh my gosh, so thoughtful. I love him so much. And so he wrapped it in this really cute paper. So, in this cute paper, because he knows I really love Kumas, little bears, so we got this cute Kuma paper. Because one of the... I guess I haven't talked about this, but all universities have mascots, really kawaii mascots. Not like our mascots, like Sparky and stuff. Very cute mascots, some Hello Kitty type mascots. But the libraries all have individual mascots as well. So the entire university has one, and then the library has their own, and then it's on all of the library signage. It is so cute. So one library, it was Jose, I believe, had a little bear as their mascot, the cutest little bear. What was his name? Kuma-kun? I think it was Kuma-kun or something. Kuma is bear. And I loved it so much. I loved it. And every time I saw it, I'd be like, Kuma! So I think he remembered. He's probably this weirdo loves bears. So anyway, cute bear paper. I love it. They're so thoughtful. And so in that, I was telling him on one of our long train rides, I said, oh, my mom's an artist. She's really good. And I showed him some pictures. My mom is good. She's amazing. And I'm not just saying that because she's my mom. I mean, I am. I love my mom. But, she's fantastic. My mom... my mom's wonderful. My dad's wonderful. My family's wonderful. I love my family. Anyway, I'm not talking about that. But I was telling him about how my mom is an artist. Because he was asking about my hobbies, and I asked about his hobbies. And then I told him about my mom and my dad and what they do. And... he really loved my mom's paintings. My mom paints watercolor flowers. So at the stationery store, he found these beautiful cards. You can't really tell, but this is 3-dimensional. It's all laser cut. And so you open it up and it creates this like really pretty thing. So there's a Fuji-san. There's this beautiful tree with this little like inu, a dog. And then this one, there's another beautiful tree with a neko. Oh, how beautiful are these? And so look how wonderful. He got these for me. He thought of them because of our conversation on the train. Oh, it was so lovely. Oh, and today when I saw one of the interpreters, she was waiting at the bus station and she waved and then I waved and then she waved and it was just like so sweet and happy. Oh, I was like genuinely so happy and excited to see her, and I felt the same way about my other interpreter when I saw him. I just feel like so close to them. I don't want to leave them. Or I wish we could like all stay together. Oh, I love them. Anyway. Yeah. So what else? That was mostly my day. Tried not to cry leaving them, and I don't like cry when I leave people, but yeah, and I think, I don't know, but it seems like Japanese people are totally fine, like, parting ways. They're very formal, and then they're like, all right, see you later, and then they just, like, peace out. But I don't know if this is just me, but when I leave someone, I'm like, oh, I'll miss you a lot. My time with you really meant a lot to me, and I'll get, like, some closure, and then, like, slowly walk away, and then they're like, bye. So I don't... yeah, I don't know. It's just like it might be a slight difference, or maybe I'm just like really sensitive. but they were just like, okay, bye. It's like, oh, bye. Oh. But I'm sure they felt the same though. I could tell. I could tell that we're all a lot closer. I love them. Yeah. So another, I guess the last interesting thing is that so there have been a few typhoons while I've been here, that have caused a lot of rain and like wind and stuff. I think I mentioned them a little bit, but like every time when I would be like a little scared that a typhoon was coming, and I would mention it to them, they'd be like, it's fine. It'll like rain a little and be windy." And I was like, ugh. I guess that makes sense if you grow up like in an environment where there's just constant typhoons. You're like, whatever, a typhoon. Kind of like we Arizonans are exposed to like extreme heat and dust storms and monsoons, and when it happens we're just like, here it is again. Or during the summer we're like, yeah, it's hot, but what are you gonna do, right? So I think it's that they're just like, yeah, it's a typhoon, like it's fine. So when I was in Kyoto, I noticed a couple people started saying, "Oh, the typhoon is coming," and then they would make a face like a concerned face, like a be careful face. And as soon as people started mentioning the typhoon, because before they'd be like, whatever, they like wouldn't even talk about it. It wasn't even a part of their daily lives. But then a couple of people started mentioning it, and I was like, they're talking about the typhoon. Like, what does that mean? Why are they talking about the typhoon? And I have been following it, and some of the apps that I recommended that I showed you all on my phone, a lot of them are safety apps. So there's a safety tips app that's through the Japan Tourism Organization, JTO or JNTO, something like that. There's also one for people from the United States traveling abroad, that's through the government. And then there's a third one through, I think, the Japanese government or something. And then there's like an evacuation one that'll send things to your phone and show you where the evacuation centers are and all this other stuff. So I have these apps ready to go. I have a battery pack charged up, all sorts of stuff. Which is to say that like I pre-prepared ahead of time, knowing that it's typhoon season. But so I had been watching the news, I'd been checking the apps, and like I saw that there was a typhoon, but I was just like, oh, I'm sure no one's going to care about it again. It's just another typhoon. It turns out very suddenly, the typhoon turned into apparently a super typhoon. Like, what? Not a typhoon. Not like a pretty big typhoon. Like a freaking super typhoon. A super typhoon. And so I was like, okay, well maybe it's just gonna like kind of hit Japan. Maybe it's not a big deal, just like all the other ones. How they weren't worried. So funny story. I was in Kyoto about 24 hours ago. Super typhoon, gonna miss Kyoto. Like, no matter where the typhoon is, you still get lots and lots and lots of rain and wind and stuff, like last week when I mentioned it. Now, apparently, the trajectory for this super typhoon is directly into Tokyo. If you look at the map, the line for where it's traveling literally goes like right through the hotel I'm staying at, right through the district I'm staying in. Yeah, so it is a serious typhoon, and there have been so many warnings. People have been talking about it like in a really concerned way, which tips you off that if people from Japan are concerned about a typhoon, like, it's gonna be huge. And the categories here are like, I forget exactly what the categories are, but it's like medium strength, very strong, and then like violent. Violent is the highest strength that it goes, and it's a violent typhoon. And unfortunately, Chiyoda oh no, not Chiyoda. Wait, maybe it is Chiyoda. I can't remember. Anyway, one of the areas is still recovering from the last hurricane, and it's going to get directly hit again. So people are really, really worried. They're like the far coastal area. But yeah, Tokyo's pretty much going to get like direct line thing. And so that is going to be starting in about 12 hours. And I can tell for a bunch of different reasons. It is dreary. The sky is quite, like, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah. And it's like the humidity. Whoa, so much humidity. And like I said, the rain, but also, as I mentioned in my first couple days, my migraines. So I've had this like headache, and it has been slowly building and building and building, and it's just now starting to get like a bad migraine, like shooting right through my head. So as one can imagine, like huge pressure fluctuations because of a super typhoon create a super migraine. So cool. I'm going to be weathering out literally a super typhoon, my very first and only typhoon and or any sort of natural weather related thing, and a migraine at the same time. And my hotel is organized so that it's kind of similar to a motel in that it's like a U shape, and the rooms are actually like on the outside. Like my door doesn't go into a hall that's on the inside of a hotel. It's like outside. It's out, the outdoors, the outside where the typhoon will be, where the gale force winds will be. So I won't even be able to like wander around the hotel and go places because my door is literally outside. So yeah. So I have been like asking a lot of people, what do you do in a typhoon? I don't understand. Is there evacuation procedures? What do I do if there's an emergency? So I have a lot of questions about these very specific things, and there isn't a whole lot of information on it, especially for travelers. Even in these apps, it's almost always for people who live here or are in a house, not in like a hotel or something. And so because people in Japan are so used to typhoons, are like, yeah, just maybe don't sightsee that day. Don't like go outside. And then I'm like, I will, yeah. Yeah, no problem. Got it. Yeah, I don't, wasn't planning on doing that. But then, yeah, so, uh, it's just so different because being from the desert, we don't experience rain, let alone like a typhoon. So yeah, I've only seen videos of it online. I don't actually know what to expect, especially with a super typhoon, which is different than a regular one. Um, so anyway, I haven't gotten a whole lot of information about it. I don't know what to do in an emergency. So what I've done is I got enough food and water for at least 2 days minimum so that I do not have to leave this room at all. I don't plan on opening that door. I don't plan on well, I can't open the window anyway, but like even parting the curtain, not that the curtain is gonna do anything. I don't know what to do. Like, so, I'm a little bit stressed out about it. So I seem like I'm in a good mood, but humor is definitely something I'm using right now to mask my sheer terror over the super typhoon that's going to directly hit Tokyo. So, I hope I make another video after this. If I can, I'll try to get video of what it looks like to be in the middle of a super typhoon. But also, I'm a very soft, delicate, and naturally terrified person, so probably won't be getting a lot of video or anything out of that. Oh, and anyway, what goes with the super typhoon is that like pretty much all transportation and like literally everything is going to stop. Everything's going to be closed. Trains are shutting down. Everything is suspended. People basically just hide in their homes, which is understandable. But what else? Oh yeah, and then supermarkets are just like the shelves are cleared. I went into the 7-Eleven tonight, and normally they have like a really good stock pretty early in the evening, so it's still like not that late here. It's 9:20, but when I went it was like 6, maybe 7 actually. And usually they have like all this very lovely like bread and desserts and stuff. There was nothing. Like it was very, very bare. So I got what I could, got some water, got a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, and then I've been seeing pictures of just like supermarkets with their shelves like completely cleared. People might just be like panicking a little bit, or it could be totally warranted. Like, I don't know. What do I know about typhoons? Yeah, so my days have been really good. Wish I never left Kyoto for so many reasons. But the biggest reason being I really don't want to be in a typhoon. Like, I don't want to be in a typhoon so much. So much. I hate water. I hate the rain. I can't swim. Not that I'll be having to swim, but it doesn't even matter. Like, typhoons are scary to me because, like, it rains like once in Arizona. Not really. Like, monsoons are intense, but you know they're gonna end, and you know that they aren't freaking typhoons. Yeah. So, anyway, I got my snackies, got my water, got all my stuff charged, got some emergency things. So, for people planning to come to Japan, either on the Horner Fellowship or otherwise, just know if you come in October, which is peak typhoon season, you might be facing a super typhoon, especially since global warming is causing stronger and stronger weather-related events. Cool. Thanks, global warming. Anyway, yeah, I don't have a whole much more to say. Ooh, for dinner I ate Japanese curry. I love Japanese curry, and also a steamed bun, which are those like white fluffy buns that usually have stuff inside, but it was a pizza flavor steamed bun. So pizza's really popular in Japan, but like totally different than the U.S. As one can imagine, there's like mayonnaise and stuff on it, but not mayonnaise like we have. Their mayonnaise here is very, very different. It's delicious, very unique, but not not pizza like we have. Oh, and I finally had an omurice too, which I was very excited about. I want another omurice, provided I make it through the typhoon. I'm sure I will, but oh my God, I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed. I don't want to do it. And my head hurts so bad. So bad. Ugh. Anyway, okay. Well, I hope you all are safe and doing well. I'm gonna get more presents for you as soon as the freaking typhoon is gone. And yeah, I miss you all. I'm excited to see you soon. And I'll tell you all about the typhoon. I'm not going to be able to make a video, of course, while the typhoon is going on. I have to conserve energy, but I'll make a video and tell you all about how to survive a typhoon. Typhoon 101. In like 2 days after the typhoon has passed. Yep. Okay. So, bye everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.